Our next award is MVP of the WWE. And the nominees are Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Rhea Ripley, and Gunther. And guys, with a 30% win, goes to Seth freaking Rollins.
Shocked. Personally, I was shocked.
No, yeah, I didn't vote for
Shots
his
or
ass.
shocked?
Shocked.
I didn't vote for his ass.
SHOCKED. Exclamation point.
Yeah, I didn't vote for him. This Seth Rollins character hasn't been for me. However, I get for some, he is one of the best workers in the world. He could arguably be the best worker in the world. So I get that. You know, in that company, he's the only, world champion defending the title. So that means something to somebody. I ultimately went with Cody Rhodes just because, again, he's a babyface. And he is moving merchandise. I know he fluctuates in the top, 1 to 3 or whatever the case may be. But that just shows you how hot that promotion is and how many guys they have at the top that he can continue to be in that conversation. And I think that from a storyline perspective, he hasn't really had a great story that he can sink his teeth into. I mean, he had the Roman story, which is great. And he had a nice run with Brock. But after Brock, he's kind of just been floating around, just trying to stay above water to the next big thing. And we don't know what that next big thing is. We're hoping is the road leads to Roman and Mania, but we haven't seen that yet. The stage hasn't been set just yet. Gunther, definitely, the IC champion. He's definitely done a great job elevating that title. I mean, he might be the second best champion in all of wrestling this year after Orange Cassidy. And Rhea, she's just been so solid. Just from a storytelling perspective. I mean, she's been all over Raw. Very charismatic. She shows up on NXT, does her thing. When she shows up on SmackDown, she's doing her thing. And this is a woman. She reminds me, I haven't seen a woman that's this over since, I think, China. And actually, I would take Rhea over China as far as a woman that transcends that division and means something. I might take Rhea, but maybe not.
Well, I mean, if you remember, there would be no Rhea if it wasn't for China. So that's a big difference. And China was legit wrestling guys.
Right.
At a different time, of course, but she was taking stunners on every house show from Austin. Ain't no guy really touching Rhea yet. I'm still waiting for that RKO from Randy.
Hey, so was Mae Young too, by the way.
Man, Mae Young.
She sure was. Man.
Shout out to the legend. Rest in peace, Mae Young.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Interesting because everything you said was right. And it's funny because this is one of the categories that got the most votes. And this is really close. 30% Seth Rollins, 24% Cody Rhodes, 28% Gunther, and 18% Rhea Ripley. Again, we could argue any of those 4 are the right answer. I think the reason why I was surprised, because I just thought Cody was going to win. I voted for Cody because of how popular he was. And if I looked at it, when I say most valuable player, right? Meaning, in my opinion, if I was to pull this player off of the team, who's going to hurt worse? Like, you know what I mean? So if I pull Cody off, is business going to hurt worse than if I pull Seth off? And for me, it is absolutely Cody Rhodes. If God forbid Cody was to get injured again this past year, we would see numbers drop much more than if Seth got injured, God forbid, and he had to be gone for a few months. That was strictly my answer and my thought process. But I can understand Seth. He took that belt. He is legit, if you want to say, the workhorse in WWE in terms of champions for how many matches he's worked this year. Seth has worked the most. Okay, if you want to look at that and say, yep, then he's MVP, cool. Rhea, you just talked about it. She is bigger than the women's division. Cool, if you want to go Rhea, I get that for sure also. And then Gunther, Gunther is on a run that we're going to look back at, I think, years from now and say how legendary it was. Has not had a match that was nothing less than very good, no matter who he's in the ring with. All of his matches are completely different than the previous one. You never know when the finish is coming because I don't even know if he has a finish. He finishes people in completely different ways depending on what the story he's telling in the match. Like
Whatever
his
it takes.
psychology is just so incredible. And that's why I can't wait until we do get him and Brock. Because you get those two guys in the ring with the way they tell stories and the way they think about the business. Man, oh man, like I can't wait for that. Yusuf, before I get to you, Rhodesia, if you guys don't know Yusuf on Twitter, hilarious guy. He's a big Seth Rollins fan. And I'm guessing when he voted, because once again, I didn't look at the numbers when I posted it. I kind of just left it until now. I'm guessing Seth was probably fourth, maybe, because he put "Nobody Loves Seth Like Me" with a really sad gif. And I just told him that he can't handle the truth. So he'll be very happy to hear that Seth Rollins made a comeback. Maybe he created like 10 or 12 different accounts and made them go number one. So that was interesting. Brad, another half of gimmick infringement. I got to get your guys' thoughts on this. And let's start, Rhodesia, let's start with your thoughts on this and then your thoughts on the question. And then E, I want to get your feedback on what Brad says. Brad says way more Cody love than I'd like. He was a volume shooter this year, but those programs he was in were absolute ass outside of his current feud. Brad was not.
He must have a bad day today.
Brad was not a Cody fan
Brad
of the stories
like...
in 2023.
Hey, Brad, DM me later. We'll talk about this, man. Was you having a bad day, bro? Come on, man.
Rhodesia, what you got around MVP of WWE?
I did vote for Seth Rollins, and I can go on a soliloquy for all four of these people. It really just comes back down to what does MVP mean to the person who's selecting it. For sure, Cody Rhodes, again, he's close. He came in at 24%. Rhea Ripley, like you said, she transcends the women's division. I almost sometimes don't even look at Rhea as a woman, and I don't want to make it sound like anything other than what I'm trying to say, but she makes it like wrestler. She's a wrestler. She's a great wrestler. It's not a great women's wrestler. She's a great wrestler. She was on SmackDown and Raw, with Judgment Day, on NXT, hanging with Dom. Again, you look at MVP, who was the most valuable? And to me, I looked at it as, again, you held down Raw, talking about Seth Rollins here. You won. They made a championship for you. This championship that you built up just for CM Punk to come take it in a couple months from you. But anyways, you built this and you worked tirelessly.
You know what it is?
Every single day, every single week. And Gunther, holy hell. The IC championship, I can only imagine this is when it first came out decades ago, what this prestige meant for the IC championship. Again, I would just be regurgitating everything that y'all have said about all these people. But when you look at Gunther, he's going to finish you with whatever it takes to finish you. And this dude is such a monotone man. Like he's not this super Seth Rollins flamboyant character. He's just this, let's get in here, let's take care of business and we're done. And he still makes that exciting for me. He still brings me in. I'm still engaged, and he has this kind of L7 square personality. So all four of them, I couldn't be mad at whatever person you selected, but I did pick Seth Rollins just purely because he is a workhorse. We talk about Orange Cassidy over AEW. Seth Rollins is that in WWE, and he's been like that for years in WWE, even through the pandemic. So
love it.